They say a picture speaks 1,000 words, but what if it's a photo from forbidden grounds? Are those haunting words? Should we even look at it? If we look at it, does it count? Should we just throw it away? What if it's an island you can't swim up to? Can we still talk about it? Am I in trouble? Guys, welcome back to Most Amazing Top 10. I'm your host, Taylor McWaters, and today we'll be taking a look at 10 terrifying photos recovered from forbidden places. Don't tell on me, let's do it. Kicking off the list at number 10, the mysterious Black Tomb. Back in 2018, remains were found by archaeologists in Egypt, and apparently they had never seen the Brendan Fraser classic, The Mummy, because they opened it. Just because, we wanted to see what was inside. They found a massive black granite sarcophagus in Alexandria, and it hasn't been touched in over 2,000 years, and we still opened it. These guys wore masks because apparently it had an awful smell. You don't say. I left a banana in my locker in high school for winter break once, and honestly, nothing could beat that. That was the worst thing I've ever smelled. Not even a cursed mummy. I don't know, maybe. They opened it and they found 3 skeletons. Not just one, but 3. Nice combo. They also found this brown sewage water just lying there, which I'm sure smelled great. They opened it up 2 inches and the smell was so foul that the committee that was on the scene, they straight up ran away. It's almost like opening the tomb of a mummy is forbidden and we should never do it again. Mustafa Waziri, Secretary General of the Supreme Council of Antiquities, said in response to locals freaking out about this that we've opened it and thank God the world has not fallen into darkness. I was the first to put my whole head inside the sarcophagus and here I stand before you. I'm fine. Nice. That was in 2018. How's the world now, Waziri? Was the mummy juice worth it? Now we're wearing masks every day, not just when we open yucky tombs. Thanks, man. Number 9, Chernobyl. One of the worst nuclear disasters of all time happened on April 26, 1986, when reactor number 4 at the Chernobyl power complex exploded due to unstable and low power levels. Reactor 4 had been shut down a day before due to maintenance, and the next day at 1:23 a.m. it exploded and radioactive debris just compiled of fuel and reactive components just rained down all over the building. It was horrible. Toxic fumes were carried from the wind, and just after 4 months, 28 workers had died just due to radiation exposure alone. Now eventually they had to evacuate over 100,000 residents, and to this day, that zone is a no-go. Reactor 4 will stay highly radioactive for another 20,000 years, so photos for now, but if we get close, it's not gonna end up well. Number 8. Area 51. Remember that Area 51 raid, when everybody was determined to find out the truth about aliens? How did that go again?
At least 2,000 people came to a festival in Rachel, Nevada, located near the gates leading to Area 51.
Yeah, we could only get so much time off of work. We decided that consequences don't exist.
Power in numbers, I guess. Nice. Love the glitter and spandex. That's good. So we didn't raid Area 51 because it's one of the most forbidden places in the world to enter. It wasn't as easy as a hashtag, But why exactly did people get arrested in tinfoil hats? What was the goal here? Well, these controversial photos show that there's more than meets the eye in this Nevada military base. Located at Groom Lake in southern Nevada, if you wanted to take a look at this place from the skies, say, satellite imagery, well, it wasn't until 2018 until those pictures were uncensored. Honestly, when UFOs were on the news recently, I thought that was the end of it. I still don't know how I feel about Area 51, but next time we raid them, let's get more than 30 people wearing flip-flops. Just an idea. Number 7. North Sentinel Island. Heading over to India, this island here is home of the Sentinelese tribe, one of the most forbidden islands in the world. But why? Is there a resort on it? Is there some sort of Bahama Michael Jackson suite that you can't swim up to? No. Located in the Bay of Bengal, North Sentinel Island is about 1,200 kilometers from India, and while most islands are shrinking, this one actually grew back in 2004. That's right, the island lifted up a couple of meters during an earthquake, so the west and south sides gained an extra kilometer. The inhabitants on this floating cursed island are amongst the few uncontacted tribes left in the world. They've apparently been there for 50,000 years. There's no sign of agriculture or even fire, yet this tribe has thrived. If we try and get close, they try and drive anybody away. In fact, back in 2006, 2 fishermen lost their lives simply because they got too close to the island without knowing who was on it. The Indian government at this point didn't roll up to the beach and start interrogating locals. Instead, they just made it forbidden to go to completely. And honestly, that's a great call. There's other islands. Just go to Center Island. I don't know. Go anywhere else. Number 6. LASCAUX Caves. There's nothing more eerie than humanity's origin. And for archaeologists from around the world, this cave system in France doubles as the world's oldest art gallery. Those Paleolithic paintings are haunting to look at, and they were created from humans roughly 20,000 years ago, but it's now considered a World Heritage Site. So if you're thinking about sneaking down there to write Jordan was here in Sharpie, you better think again, because it's not open anymore, and there's a good reason for it. Aside from paintings and clues to humanity's earliest, these caves are home to ancient bones and tools. So so it's pretty much an old graveyard as well. It's very haunting. The cave was opened originally to the public in 1948, but due to carbon dioxide levels from visitors, it was closed in 1963. You have to be so tender with these ancient pieces of art. The small opening that led to the cave originally was enlarged to make room for visitors and such, but even the change of airflow after that deteriorated some of the paintings. Number 5, the Paris Catacombs. As Above, So Below is an underrated horror film. A team of explorers accidentally go too deep when exploring the Paris Catacombs, and in turn, they have to face their own hell. Well, it's not too far-fetched, it seems. What feels like a never-ending maze, the tunnels under Paris stretch for hundreds of miles. Originally, the tunnels were built for Paris stone mines, but near the end of the 18th century, it turned into something haunting. See, cemeteries started to fill up, literally. At this point in time, humans weren't too clean. I mean, bodies were literally just laying on the side of the road, and they started to pile up, so the solution was to use these catacombs. These tunnels have been there for centuries, so you might as well put them to good use. And by good use, I mean arguably the scariest basement in the world, full of bones. Number 4, Island of the Dolls, Mexico. The Island of the Dolls. Honestly, that already sounds horrible. This island is famous for having dolls or doll parts just spread all about. Now, the islands that surround this one are inhabited, they're fine, but this one is said to be filled with demonic spirits. Specifically, the spirit of a young girl who drowned there way back. It's like Camp Crystal Lake, but with even more plastic. These dolls are hanging or nailed to trees, and these dolls have to come from somewhere, and they all came from a local resident by the name of Julian Santa Barrera. He put up all these doll parts in order to try and ward away those demonic spirits and keep the island bare and just abandoned. Just keep everybody away from this. And you know what? A bunch of doll parts ought to do the trick. To this day, nobody dares to approach the island. They would much rather snap a pic from far away on their canoe, which is a great idea. If it didn't look haunted before, it definitely does now. Great call, Julian, but the doll parts couldn't have just used smudge sticks? Okay. Number 3, Pluto's Gate. Also known as the Gate to Hell. Neat. These ruins discovered in Turkey back in 1965 are beautiful, but obviously cursed. Historians believe that this site is the ancient city of Hierapolis, and if you're thinking about visiting these eerie ruins, well, you better leave the family pet at home. Any animal that enters these ruins meets instant death. Sparrows were tossed in, and then they immediately stopped breathing and dropped. Scientists have figured out the solution, they think, and it's still pretty haunting. They measured the CO2 concentration, and it turns out that while the sun is up, it burns away this gas, but at night, when the temperature drops significantly, because that's what happens when the sun goes away, science, the CO2 becomes heavier than air and it creates this deadly gas cloud on the floor. And then when the sun rises back up again, the concentration of CO2 hits 35%, so now it's deadly enough for animals and even humans. Just stay away from anything called the gates of hell. There's a start. I don't know, we could have figured this out way sooner. Number 2, the Svalbard Vault. Over the pandemic, I spent a lot of time playing video games, and some of my favorites always have a similar theme. They always have this post-apocalyptic feel. There's like shelters with survivors or vaults. It's stressful but engaging. In real life, we have a global seed vault, and it's deep in the Arctic Circle on the island Spitsbergen. It's this massive bunker that has since been deemed the Doomsday Vault. Sounds scary, and it looks scary too. This is where humans are storing food crops. It contains 100 million seeds, so if the earth all of a sudden gets wiped out, or even if all the ice melts, this vault will still be good to go. It's built high enough on a mountain so it won't drown. All that water that's just flooded the rest of humanity, well, ideally it'll regrow the earth. Sounds like a fun, cute way to get humans to think about the future, but I'm kind of concerned here. Is there something we don't know? Is there an asteroid on the way? Why is everybody involved in this so soon? Are we in a fight? Number 1, Tomb KV55. Okay, we talked about a creepy tomb, now we gotta finish with another creepy tomb. Located in the Valley of Kings in Egypt, Tomb 55, otherwise known as KV55, was discovered by Edward Ayrton back in 1907. And the reason we call this tomb by a number, rather than, you know, a name or a king, is because we really don't know who or what is inside. Even the sarcophagus, we're like, ugh, bones, definitely bones. We don't know about this one at all. Even the walls inside, they aren't like other tombs covered in ancient hieroglyphs, tipping their reader off on the noble history of the king that lies before them. Here, there's nothing. The only hint that remains here is one hieroglyph, and it translates to, "The evil one shall not live again." Sick! Even these massive stones were built in order to prevent anything from getting out of that tomb. Usually with these ancient Egyptians, it's the opposite. It's made so that grave robbers can't get in. The description for whoever's inside the tomb has also been destroyed, so we literally have no idea who or what is in KV55. Guys, thank you so much for joining us on Most Amazing Top 10. I've been your host, Taylor McWaters. Those were 10 haunting photos from forbidden places. Let us know in the comments what we missed, and we'll go and try and find those forbidden photos ourselves. Thank you so much. Have a great weekend. Bye!